For 30 years, the Philippines has been at the forefront of the Philippine supply chain, advocating for policies, initiatives, and practices benefiting the sector. With the help of stakeholders in the public and private sectors, communicating the movements, trends, and developments affecting the profession through regular events online and offline, and educating supply chain professionals from the boardroom to the warehouse floor. For 30 years, the Supply Chain Management Association of the Philippines has recognized that a strong supply chain plays a role in building a competitive and strong economy and ensuring higher standards of life for everyone. This is why, for the past 30 years, the Supply Chain Management Association of the Philippines has worked tirelessly across the country and around the world towards a world-class Philippine supply chain powered by a capable supply chain sector, supported by a responsive regulation, and led by a culture of collaboration. And we will continue to connect, engage, and move now and into the future. We are the Supply Chain Management Association of the Philippines.
Makibahagi sa pagpapanatili ng maayos na supply chain at logistics ngayong panahon ng community quarantine dulot ng COVID-19. Pumunta sa iatfscan.net o sa Google Play Store, i-download ang Scan Incident Reporting app sa inyong cellphone at magrehistro. Ang Scan Incident Reporting app ay isang mobile app na maaaring gamitin ng sinumang nasa transport services, public servants mula sa iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno, mga manggagawa na naglalakbay papunta at pauwi mula sa trabaho, mga kumpanya na gumagawa o nagbebenta ng essential goods and services tulad ng pagkain at gamot, o mga miyembro ng industry associations tulad ng SCMAP, PhilExport, PCCI at Export Development Council. Ginagamit ang Scan Incident Reporting app sa pag-report ng mga issue o sitwasyon na nakakaabala sa daloy ng supply chain at logistics sa angmang bahagi ng bansa. Halimbawa ng mga issue ay pagkuha ng quarantine pass, pagkalito sa bagong regulasyon o ordinansya, pagtawid sa quarantine control points, sinarang mga kalsada, mahabang pila ng mga sasakyan, aksidente sa daan, o anomalya sa presyo ng mga pangunahing bilihin. Ang Scan Incident Reporting app ay sumusunod sa Data Privacy Act at sinisiguro na ang bawat report ay pinapanatiling safe and secure sa isang database na ma-access lamang ng kinauukulang tao at sangay ng gobyerno. Ang inyong mga incident reports ay agarang maipapakita sa Scan Dashboard na gagabay naman sa NTF COVID Operations Center sa pagmonitor, pagtugon o pakikipag-ugnayan sa mga LGUs ukol sa mga isinumiteng issue o sitwasyon. Kaya tayo na at magkaisa upang mapanatiling maayos ang daloy ng supply chain at logistics sa ating bansa gamit ang Scan Incident Reporting app.
Habang nakatigil ang mundo, habang ligtas tayo sa ating mga tahanan, may mga pumiling manatili sa harap ng digmaan. Laban sa COVID-19. Para sa inyong patuloy na nagpapatakbo sa makina ng bansa. Para sa inyong laging nakaabang sa ating mga daungan at paliparan. Para sa inyong nagtatawid aming mga pangangailangan sa kalsada, karagatan, at himpapawid. Para sa inyong mga nagbabantay sa mga warehouse at terminal. Para sa inyong mga nakikipagsapalaran sa daan. Para sa inyong naghahatid sa amin ng malasakit at kabayanihan. Kayong mga frontliners sa logistics at supply chain. Kakibat kayo ng mga doktor, nurse, sundalo at pulis. Patid namin ang mga sakripisyo ninyo at pagtitiis. Kasama ang buong sambayanan, kaming lahat ay nagbibigay pugay at puso nagpapasalamat sa pagharap ninyo sa tiyak na pahamak para sa bayan. Mabuhay kayo, mga bayani ng bayan.
That you are safe in the comforts of your home and offices. And thank you for choosing to be with us this afternoon. I'm Ana Rose Ochoa, Program Director of SCMAP. Welcome you to our third edition of SCMAP Live, presented in partnership with SAP. So together, let us explore on what the new normal presents to us, both the challenges and opportunities. During our previous webinars, we discussed about your health and safety in the workplace. And last month, we presented Riding the Next e-commerce wave. So today, we will be focusing on navigating the new transport landscape. So as we enter the general community quarantine, we are reminded that there are still no certainties in our work, particularly in these times. Our ability to physically transport goods, whether it be raw materials, essential supplies and equipment, or finished goods to various points of the country, is still hampered by restrictions, bottlenecks, and other issues. Thus, this edition of SCMAP Live, we will look at how we can navigate this new transport landscape where moving goods and passage of people is an imperative and not a choice. Decisions have to be made on how to run transport services within these constraints. What options do we have? Who can help us, and how can they help us to ensure that we continue to have a seamless flow in our supply chain and continue to serve our customers in this most critical of times? So this afternoon, we have invited three distinguished resource speakers who shall offer fresh insights and perspectives related to transport services and management. But before that, we at SCMAP have continued to collaborate and coordinate with government agencies and private institutions to ensure that we are abreast of developments affecting our operations and that our ideas and concerns are also heard. To give us an update about our association activities, let us all welcome the President of the Supply Chain Management Association of the Philippines and the Supply Chain Director of Rustan Supercenters Incorporated, Ms. Christine Pardiñas.
Good afternoon, everyone. So for all those who were able to log in to Zoom and those that are watching via Facebook, good afternoon, everyone. Before I start my slides, just a few slides, I would just like to thank again Ochi, Nico, who are all behind the scenes working very hard to make these online events possible. Special thanks also to Ms. Annette and Ms. Cora of the events committee. All right, so today is our third of a series of online events, as Ochi mentioned. Next, please. So as we navigate, Ochi said, in the new normal, we in supply chain never stopped in preparing to adopt in this new normal, or what we call the new life after the pandemic? Or should I say we're still in the pandemic, but we are actually adapting to the new conditions. So we are looking at the capacity as well as the capability of our people. So next. Okay. All right. So I can control. Okay. So yes, so on my next slide here, I just want to share what have I been getting in my regular updates. So since yesterday, we're now on GCQ. Ochi mentioned the new conditions of GCQ. So for those who haven't seen it yet, because or we're still a bit confused where we are now, what are the conditions of MECQ versus GCQ? Here is a summary of what we have. Obviously, we cannot still be with each other physically, so we will continue to do these online events. We can go to restaurants already and salons to have our much needed haircut and hair treatment, except for the body massage, full body massage. Yes. Unfortunately, we can't still have that luxury. And some businesses which are still considered non-essential remain closed. But what's important to all of us probably is the curfew that has been agreed by the different LGU mayors from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. So that is very important. So you shouldn't be out in the streets if you're not part of the essential industry. And one a new practice that we need to abide, and it was actually implemented across all offices also, the face shield on top of the face mask. And of course, we cannot go out without the quarantine passes. And of course, since we celebrated Quezon City Day yesterday, the one on the right side is specific to QC, which is actually adopting also the conditions within Mega Manila. Here, it says lang, some of those who are high risk cannot go out yet. So since I'm also from the supermarket business, so this might be a bit of a concern for those below 21 years old and 60 years old. Okay, so next screen is showing us, showing us the 3 pillars of SCMAP. So for those of you who don't know SCMAP yet, because we have participants that are not yet members of our association, we are guided by these three pillars. It's ACE, it's ACE, or Advocate, Communicate, and Educate. By Advocate, we deal on the policy reforms on how to improve the supply chain competitiveness in the country. With this, we work with other logistics service providers. So we have the group LSPH together with the other service providers. We work with the Export Development Council on policies related to shipping lines, on all other fees implemented at the port. On Communicate, we continue to share new ideas, trends, and best practices for a stronger supply chain community. We have partnership with port calls wherein we have regular articles. For the past 5 months or so, we have been in close coordination with IATF on all the guidelines implemented as far as supply chain is concerned. And lastly, on education, we believe in pursuing the relevance of supply chain in nation building through further education. So those are the different government agencies and educational institutions that we are partnering with in order to offer further courses. Next. Okay, so we in SCMAP have different committees. For those who are not yet members or who are already members, we are still open. For those who want to become members of our different committees in research and policy, this research and policy committee is actually working on the advocacy pillar. And then of course, a very important committee is the membership committee, who takes care of our members. And the education pillar is handled by the academe and training, as well as hand in hand with the events committee. And of course, the most important as the one who takes care of the finances. Otherwise, we won't have this Zoom facility to use in these online events. We have been guided by the battle cry of connect, engage, move for the past 3 years. We have been connecting with all the issues that we have in the supply chain industry. We engage with all of you, the stakeholders in the industry, and we continue to move towards resolution. But with everything that we have been experiencing in this pandemic, we in the board of with the other board of directors have agreed to adopt a new battle cry: restart, rethink, reconnect. We need to restart, rise up against all the challenges that we have now. We have to rethink about our strategies, revise what we have set since the start of the year, and reconnect on what's important and what is essential. Next. Which is why we will have, next slide, please. Which is why in October, so sorry about that. In October, we will have the biggest event. Actually, unfortunately, it's still online. It's live, our Supply Chain Conference 2020. We will have it in 3 consecutive weeks, adopting the restart, rethink, reconnect battle cry. So more details will be coming soon. So just continue to follow us via scmap.org for more information. Next. I've been mentioning about the online events. For those of you who haven't watched or registered in our previous events, we were able to partner with the supply chain analytics team, the Networks Hub e-forum last June, wherein we had the Honorable Carlo Nograles for the topic on gearing up for the economic new normal. So this was the start wherein we were really just opening up businesses after being quarantined for almost 2 months. And then you have seen the video. I hope you took note of the SCAN app. You can report there anything that you feel is a challenge, especially in transport, transporting goods from our DCs or distribution centers to our customers. And then the past 2 online events that we had are very important topics, which we felt we in BOD actually tackle topics that are very close to us, that are very practical for all of us. The first one is about the health and safety of our people, which is our #1 priority now in every company. And then the next is about becoming online. So what is e-commerce all about, and how did we respond to this? Next slide. Yes. So another topic that is very close to our heart when we were actually discussing, so we meet every month and discuss what is very relevant to our members. So one is about transport. So what are the different options? Do we do air? Do we do sea? And then a lot of questions or problems or issues arise after that. What are the different customs policies, clearance policies that we need to establish? I myself have experienced all of those things because we usually do sea freight, and then some are very very important, so we need to explore air. But what is the best way? So we have decisions to make. So for today, next slide, we came up with a very important topic, which is all about transport options. Next slide, please. There. No, yeah, there's more, but I need the slide before that. The previous one. Nico. Yes, thank you. So this for today, no, the one for today, next slide pa. I can't seem to control my slide. So Nico is controlling my slides. Next, Nico. Okay, stop there. Okay, so yes. So we have the right slide. So for today, it's on navigating the new transport landscape. So feel free to write your comments, questions in our comments tab there while listening to our three equally competent speakers in the transport landscape. Thank you to Jel, to Neil, and Iain for being with us today. So that's my advance thank you for accepting our invitation. So without further ado, I will just finish off my slides. Next slide, please. The one with the, but wait, there's more. Yes, exactly, because we have more events coming up. So next week, it's a back-to-back. Next slide. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So this is an event that I'm very excited. So after we tackle this week, the transport landscape or the different strategies, next week, we'll have the people from the government to respond to whatever challenges that we have now. We have anticipated lots of questions, issues that will come up this week. So for next week, all of you are here with us. Please invite your other friends and be with us next week so that more of our questions for today that we cannot answer, we continue for next week. So we have mapping the government's next steps for next week. We have again Secretary Carla Nograles of IATF, Yusek Verheyev of DOH, Honorable Magalong from the City of Baguio, and none other than Secretary Carl Chua of NEDA. So if you haven't registered yet, just go to our scmap.org website. And last but not the least, next slide, please. No, before that, for our SEC, yes, this is very important, Nico. Don't miss this out because we are still open for sponsorship for our SCC 2020. So for details, visit scmap.org or email our secretariat at scmap.org. So that's it, everyone. I won't keep you anymore from listening to our speakers. Good afternoon. Let's keep supply chain moving. Thank you very much and have a wonderful session ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our SCMAP President, Ms. Christine Pardiñas, for that update. And it only showcases that SCMAP is being front and center in reaching out and collaborating with government agencies and institutions to ensure the unhampered flow of goods amidst this pandemic. So before we proceed, we would like to remind our participants via Zoom that you can raise your questions throughout the afternoon by using the Q&A function on your Zoom app. And we will have an open forum later after all our speakers have done their presentations. So if you want to ask your questions live via audio or video, you can raise your hand through the app and we will get in touch with you as soon as we can, okay? If you are watching through Facebook, you can post your questions as a comment on the live stream. So again, we would like to thank our sponsor for this afternoon, SAP, our partner for this edition of SCMAP Live. Now, we now move on to our resource speaker presentations. One of the biggest challenges we have encountered in the past few months is the ability to physically transport goods. Local lockdowns and checkpoints have delayed or hindered deliveries, causing a ripple effect down to our supply chains. The temporary closure of airports and seaports, whether due to government guidelines or possible COVID-19 cases, has limited our options to move goods and has led to further delays as well as congestions in our ports. And of course, there's the issue of whether the people that work in the field are well enough to do their jobs, since our industry, transport drivers, warehouse staff cannot work remotely. In the days of early community quarantine, the government quickly moved to guarantee the unhampered movement of goods, the recognition of the importance of the supply chain sector in keeping the economy going, and the morale of Filipinos up. At the same time, stakeholders across the supply chain stepped up to ensure that store shelves across the country remained with stocks and essential goods at the best quality and at the right time. Now that we're more attuned to these current realities, it's time for us to step back and reassess. What are we doing right? What should we improve on? How do we make our supply chains work better for our customers, our partners, and our business? So our first speaker for today will present the perspective from Sea Cargo Port Operations. She is currently the marketing manager of Asian Terminals Incorporated, covering Batangas and Laguna operations. This includes the Batangas Container Terminal and the Inland Clearance Depot in Calamba, Laguna, ensuring that there is a steady flow of trade and ensuring the safe passage of goods and people during this pandemic. So ladies and gentlemen, let us give a warm welcome to the Marketing Manager of Asian Terminals Incorporated, Ms. Jelicia Yulo.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. First of all, please allow me to thank our good friend, Dennis DeVido, and the entire SCMAP family, especially to Mom Christine, Mom Ochi, and Sir Hendrik, for having me today in your online forum. It is a privilege to be in the virtual presence of the movers and shakers of the Philippine supply chain, who we rightfully consider as the nameless heroes who keep the economy moving amid these challenging and extraordinary times. And just like you, as a trade enabler, our company, Asian Terminals Incorporated, never stops in facilitating trade and in finding ways to connect goods and cargoes from the port to customers. We are thus very pleased to be part of this digital conversation and explore ideas on how to navigate the new transport landscape, particularly through the subject we know best, Batangas Port, the bigger, better, and smarter trade solution for Calabarzon. Please allow me to share my slides. But before I proceed with the details, allow me to briefly engage you on our corporate footprint. Asian Terminals Incorporated is the Philippine premier port operator and logistics provider. Having been founded in 1986, we are listed with the Philippine Stock Exchange since 1996. We are also part of the expansive port network of global trade enabler Dubai Ports World, or DP World, our foreign equity partner. Among the largest global terminal operators, DP World brings the world-class operations in the Philippines and combining this with best of the Filipino talent through ATI, resulting in superior port services for our customers. In all, ATI operates 2 major ports, Manila and Batangas, 4 strategic container depots, and soon additional trade-enabling facilities, which we are under development. We are 2,000 strong across all facilities and growing. We are compliant with international standards for quality, health, safety, environment, and security. The Port of Batangas is the main gateway for Calabarzon region, where major economic zones and various multinational manufacturing companies operate. ATI operates a strategically located inland clearance depot and empty container depot located in Calamba, Laguna. It caters to the logistics requirements of companies using South Harbor and Batangas Port. The facility is equidistant to both ports. This table shows the location of each key economic zone and its distance in relation to the Port of Batangas and Manila. Some parts of Laguna are relatively closer to Manila in terms of kilometer distance. But in terms of travel time, cargo truck can reach Batangas faster. This means Batangas can provide faster truck turnaround time, minimum 2 round trips per day in comparison to Manila Port due to unimpeded road network for supply chain. Simply because Batangas have no traffic, no truck ban, no terminal appointment booking system, so no penalties. You can take delivery of your cargoes at any time after customs clearance. Customs clearance in Batangas is fast. Cargoes can be cleared within 1 day. Customs Batangas is an ISO 9001 certified district. The port is directly connected to the expressway, STAR and SLEX, giving you predictability of cargo movements through fast and easy access to the terminal 24/7. This equates to cost and time savings in inland logistics, on-time import delivery, and export receival of containers through multiple truck trips in a day. Apart from time savings, users of Batangas Port can reap substantial cost savings through Arrastre and inland logistics services. Arrastre in Batangas is 18% cheaper in comparison to Manila Port, meaning the more you use Batangas, the higher your savings is. Thus, Batangas can help you achieve your cost and time-saving goals. The Port of Batangas has a total area of more than 40 hectares. ATI is operating 2 major terminals inside its harbor. These are the Batangas International Container Terminal and the ATI Batangas International Domestic General Cargo Terminal, RORO, and passenger terminals. The newly expanded Batangas International Container Terminal in green, last year, we completed the expansion of BCT from its original container yard design of 300,000 TEUs per annum to a new total handling capacity of more than 500 TEUs per annum. The berth had been lengthened to 660 meters, capable of accommodating 2 container vessels at the same time. It is complemented by 4 key cranes. BCT has a total yard space of 18 hectares. It is complemented by a fleet of cargo handling equipment. For our terminal system, we use Zodiac Op 7 For our gate, yard, and vessel processes, our terminal operating system interfaces with customs and shipping lines through the online release system. Information relating to your container status inside the terminal can be traced real-time through our online cargo platform, the ATI WebTrack, or through mobile app ATI Import for free. We fully supported the e-commerce facility and had recently added it in the WebTrack. You may conveniently pay port transactions online and generate gate pass soon after. ATI Batangas has a total area of 22 hectares. ATI-B operates 2 terminals, the International General Cargo Terminal in red and the Domestic Container, General Cargo, Roll-on, Roll-off, and Passenger Terminal in yellow. It has a total of 1 foreign general cargo berth and 23 domestic berths. At the International General Cargo Terminal, we operate the Philippines' largest multi-level CBU storage facility capable of accommodating 5,400 CBU daily. This brings the CBU handling capacity of ATI-B to 12,000 CBU daily. ATI-B is the major CBU hub in the Philippines, handling approximately 70% of the imported CBU market. Batangas is one of the Philippine major nautical highway. We operate 3 domestic general cargo berths for container and general cargo vessels, 13 roll-on roll-off ramps, and 7 fast craft linking cargoes and passengers from Luzon to various domestic inter-island ports. We also operate the domestic passenger terminal, capable of handling 4 million passengers per year. This makes Batangas unique in providing seamless integrated services for your foreign to domestic connections and vice versa, to and from various Philippine outports. We handled record-breaking volumes for 2019. Batangas Container Terminal maintained its yearly volume growth of 26% from 2017 until 2019, handling more than 310,000 TEUs. The domestic container terminal handled more than 45,000 TEUs. Incidents. Of course, year 2020 is a different story altogether due to the unprecedented economic impact of COVID-19. But as of that was at 35 gross moves per hour per crane, meaning 35 containers were moved from vessel to shore within an hour. Truck turnaround time was at 34 minutes from gate in and gate out. Yard utilization level has remained at a very healthy 48% utilization, and import dwell days measured from vessel discharge to gate exit was at 7 days. Our top import and export accounts are multinational and manufacturing companies engaging in the automotive, motorcycle, printer, food, beverages, essential products, paper, polyethylene production, among others. As of to date, we have 7 major international shipping lines operating 11 weekly services in the port of Batangas. These shipping lines connect your containers from Batangas to any point of origin or destination in the world, either through a direct connection within intra-Asia or via a major transshipment hubs located in Singapore, Hong Kong, China, Taiwan for long-haul trade. We have 3 services from SITC, the TPX, CMI, and CPX-1, 3 services from Maersk and Sealand, the IA3 service, where MSC and Hapag-Lloyd collodes, I-18 and PH3 service, COSCO CNP2 service, Evergreen PMS service, CMA CGM APL CSE CP2 service, One Highline SES service, and the newly launched Ocean Network Express ONE TPV service. We have 3 major domestic lines operating more than 10 weekly services to various domestic inter-island destinations, such as Cebu, Bacolod, Iloilo, Cagayan de Oro, Davao, General Santos, Butuan, among others. ATI also operates a strategically located Laguna depot, which supports the logistics requirements of clients using both South Harbor and VCT. The 4.2 hectare inland clearance depot with a capacity of 2,500 TEUs per day and a 5.2 hectare empty container depot with a capacity of 8,000 TEUs per day. Our Calamba ICD is an extension of the Port of Batangas by virtue of CMO 2303. This means we can transfer containers requiring long-term storage to ICD while awaiting clearance from DOC. Upon clearance at the Port of Batangas and shipping line release, importers may take delivery of the container, bringing cargoes to the factories faster, in line with just-in-time production cycles. In addition, we have the ECD within the same city of Calamba, which can receive empty returns from consignees, hence freeing up precious space and expediting the recirculation of empties from your warehouses. This logistics model helps the ICD accredited importer in managing its cost on storage penalties while maximizing its free demurrage and detention privileges from the shipping lines. This protects companies against volatilities in supply chain by providing you full control of your logistics requirements. Our ancillary services at the depot include container storage for uncleared, cleared, or empty containers, handling services, trucking from port to ICD and just-in-time deliveries, container maintenance and repair for shipping lines. Key ICD accounts are multinational companies engaging in food, beverages, automotive, essential goods, and telco. Apart from Batangas and Laguna facilities, we operate the Manila South Harbor and the South Cotabato Integrated Port Service. For container yard and depot, we operate 2 other container yards located in Santa Mesa and the Manila North Depot. Collectively, these vital trade and transport gateways provide comprehensive port and logistics services for containerized, bulk, and break bulk cargo, project and rolling cargoes, and passenger service offerings. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Connectivity, efficiency, and convenience at its best. We believe that through our comprehensive end-to-end solutions, whether through ATI Batangas or Laguna depots, or with any of ATI's facilities, we can help you streamline and customize your current ports and logistics processes based on the specific requirements, generate cost and time savings while making your logistics process lean, agile, and more efficient. Our lines are always open. Let's talk in details on areas that interest you. As trade partners, let's keep cargoes flowing. In parting, I would like to show you a brief clip on Batangas Container Terminal to summarize what we have talked about early on. Once again, stay safe. Thank you and good afternoon.
Ochi, I think there's the video for that.
Yes, here already.
I don't know if we can't see it actually. I can only see the presentation.
Oh, you can't see it. Okay, sige, paano ba? So do you want to?
The window, pakilabas na lang yung window ng player sa screen.
Just a second.
Naka-PowerPoint pa, Jel. It's still in the PowerPoint.
It's still in the PowerPoint. Maybe I'll just disengage the PowerPoint. Stop share. And then I'll share again. Okay, can you see it now, sir?
Yes.
Okay, better. Thank you. But can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Incorporated brings to this port the best know-how and cutting-edge technology with their partners, the DP World, that made this company a totally true global power in port operations.
Partnership between DP World with ATI, with the cooperation of the stakeholders and the businesses working not only in the Batangas port, but all over. We can say that it will just be in a matter of time that the bigger, the better, and the smarter facility is now the biggest, the best, and the smartest.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for that insightful presentation and for allowing us to be aware of your port operations so that strategies regarding cost cutting and transport may be drawn given this option. So again, if you have any questions, you can enter them through the Q&A function in your Zoom app, and we will have the open forum after our two speakers have done their presentation. Okay, so our next speaker will share with us best practices from the logistics services sector. He previously worked for Nestlé Philippines, where he handled various logistics and transport roles for its distribution centers and production facilities in Cagayan de Oro, Cebu, and Bulacan. Currently, he is the divisional manager for Luzon Transport of LF Philippines. I am pleased to introduce to you Mr. Neil Urcia.
Hi.
Hi, Neil.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having this opportunity to explain with you this afternoon. So I'll go directly to my slide. Well, I'm Neil Urcia from LF Philippines, and I'll share to you my slide. All right. I'm now sharing, and I hope you can now see it in your screen. Yeah. Everybody sees my material now?
Yes, we're good.
All right, thank you. So let me proceed. Okay, for this afternoon, of course, we wanted to know what are LF alternatives and strategies that allows us continues to deliver in our new landscape. So we say in LF that we have these key success factors during ECQ, GCQ, or MECQ, which has just ended. So we said in LF, it's people first. We have like a family, a one family culture inside LF. Then we have the new delivery landscape. What are the new requirements right now? And then the consistent communication, a very strong communication to our stakeholders, suppliers, and our internal employees. And then what we do now in terms of doing it at home. Majority of us are working at home, right? We have a digitalized transport operations that I will give you a flavor or a glimpse. And then finally, we have to ensure our financial stability in terms of ensuring that we are very liquid in terms of cash. For the people first, we have these posters in our facility sites. As all you know, LF has 80 operated warehouses, and majority of that are interconnected with transport management services of LF, which we call ourselves TMS. So we have consistent education to the drivers and helpers with this kind of posters. We are saying here the symptoms, and then what are the reminders, what to do for the specific drivers and helpers. We have the preventive measure that we encourage, of course, require our truckers, our vendors, suppliers, drivers and helpers, and our shop floor people. And then I would like to walk you through in terms of our end-to-end process from the start of truck deployment, specifically to our LF site. I want to build a story to you, and I will start it in terms of the truck entry in our LF site. So we have disinfections of our truck wheels. And then, as you would imagine, before, if it is not in a pandemic, the new delivery landscape instills a discipline to the driver and helper. Look at this picture. The driver and helper actually has a social distancing, has discipline developed into themselves. And this is being strictly implemented in our LF site for all the drivers and helpers. Of course, the usual temperature check, the wash and sanitize hands, and of course, the new normal of face shield and face mask. And of course, upon entry to our warehouses, we have a frisking area, but right now, if you can see, there's a plastic barrier over the frisking stepboard to ensure that the security are safe. And then this picture depicts the face shield and face masks are regularly used by our driver and helper and shop floor people in terms of transport operations. This one, we apply disinfectant to our trucks upon loading of our cargoes as part of the adherence to our health and safety protocols. Not only a compliance, but it's now an adherence, a new ways of working that we embrace in LF. Then after that, we load the stocks. And then after that, of course, our people or the drivers and helpers wait for their documents. And as you can see, they have a 6 feet distance for the truckers waiting for the documents. If you could imagine, what will it look like if it is the regular no pandemic at all? So this area will be crowded. And for the new delivery landscape, you may be asking us, LF, what have we done in terms of ensuring the safely and timely delivery of our goods? I'll go directly and sharing with you of what we have done so far. So we had a sense of urgency at the time of ECQ, and then we had the GCQ, and right now MECQ, now lifted, going to GCQ again. Same as like other transport providers, we have the documentation ready for IATF IDs, the COEs, the DTA memorandum, and the customer certifications. We have all of that in our trucks. Why? We don't know what to happen in terms of the checkpoints. What are the requirements of our policemen or military officers? Then, of course, on the delivery strategies, what we do in our business units, together with our principals, is that we do an advanced coordination to our provincial deliveries, to the checkpoints and coordination, most especially of the specific delivery requirements that they need. And of course, being proactive in serving our clients. How about for the new delivery landscape that needs adaptability? The game right now is how would you actually and quickly adapt? There's so many requirements per principal. But these are the standard requirements that we have and follow. The medical certificate, the face shield, face mask, and sanitized truck before entry. But of course, there are more other requirements like the issue in terms of the rapid test or the sub-test or the other documentation or health requirement that they need. So separately, we treat it as per principal. And then for our strategy in terms of sustaining truck availability, because of course, we are people and some of our driver and helper are already affected. So we do to adhere to our health and health protocols up to the vendor's garage. Later, I'll show you a photo of our vendor's garage. So we do also an advanced scheduling of our trips, meaning we inform our vendor partners, advance hard booking so that their drivers and helpers won't go home or go home to their provinces. And then as much as possible, we do the balancing and distribution of our trips to LF vendors. And then how do we manage in terms of communications? We have a twice a month vendor owner meetings together with their drivers and helpers. And we reiterate and do the continuous education to them so that our vendor as well or suppliers can also adjust. And after this actual trucks deployed in our warehouse, from the entry, from the pickup, from the exit of trucks, the next thing is what we do. How about the LF-based staff or the employees? So this is what we do. So of course, we do embrace the change. Majority are working from home. And we say in a given day, more or less, there are 50% of our transport workforce that work at home. Those that left in our DC sites are dispatchers, our the documents who receive like PODs and the billing clerks are those left 50%, but 50% of it are working from home. Then we do, of course, the alternate work schedule, either per day or per week. And then we use Teams online daily operations review together with our operations, meetings with our vendors, and then we have the online trainings given still the online trainings. And we do provide shuttle services to employees. But of course, in the observance of a social distancing inside the van. And we have taken up a secluded separate receiving areas for our POD and for our billing. In the corporate level, we do as consistent communication. So we do a bi-monthly global meeting, a direction coming from our headquarters in Hong Kong, the leaders of LF Global. And for Philippines setting, we do, our country head leads our daily senior leaders meeting, checking on the situation per site. And of course, our HR releases official communications to stakeholders, most especially to the employees of LF, clients, and the suppliers. On how we do our operations right now as the new normal, we have weekly TMS leaders meeting. We do the shop floor board huddle. We talk about operations now online. And then we have the bi-monthly vendors online meeting. So after this is the office space. So you will be asking, how do we do it working from home? How do we control our operations? I would like you to lead in my next slide, which is our work from home. So we have the digitalized transport operations. As all you know, more or less we are at a 60 to 70% completion in terms of our fleet and our principals from all over the Philippines using this technology of a control tower while working from home. There are so many benefits of using this, and I can say that without this, we are not prepared for this new normal working from home. So, just showing you in my slide the end-to-end process of LF in terms of the technology and the systems that we use. Those red circles are the warehouse management systems, and those in blue are the systems that we use in transport. And it starts in order processing and actual billing and accruals of our business in transport. And with this, we are established. With these systems, we can work from home. Just to give you a quick glimpse on these processes, I'll proceed on my next slide. So we do the shipment planning. The shipment planning is actually an automated load plan where we use our system in terms of the bulk plan transactions. Then we have the itinerary, the window time, the truck limitations, and the route. It's a planning process. And one of these pictures is actually an actual picture of a truck helper on the job pairing, which will make me go to my next slide, which is our application. In LF, we have a TMS dispatcher application. This is actually downloadable in App Store. And this is what we use right now in majority of our clients. And majority of our vendors are using this. Okay, this part of my slide is actually the interface of our vendor if they are in their desktop or laptop. In terms of the shipment order notifications, the booking notifications, or if the shipment was assigned to their truck, those things. Like for example, in a truck booking, hauler can either confirm or assign a driver or decline. But if our truck booking was declined, it will send a notification to the next hauler. After that, after the load planning, then booking, and then it is loaded already in the warehouse, arrival at the warehouse, and then it exits at our warehouse. Then we do the delivery monitoring. And we use a dynamic real-time dashboard. Before, we are only up to the use of GPS, or we called it as FOCC control tower. But right now, as we embark to our new technology, since last year, we use this TMS mobile application. So this one has a chat with the driver and helper. Then actually it can track the movement or the heartbeat of the truck in terms of where it is and where is it located. Then it captures milestone like did it stop? Did it go? Is it in transit? Do we able to deliver? Is there a delivery failure or if the delivery is canceled? Now, moving on to the next slide. That one I show you from previous slide is more on security. And then the heartbeat of the truck, where is it? But this time, I would like to show you that every stop of the truck, they scan a QR code, sending signal to those in the back office for the particular order, each carton, each stops. With this report, we could actually say to our customers that we were able to deliver on time. Okay, and of course, just like any other 3PL right now, they have image capturing for POD processing. And in this application, we could actually rate the driver from one star to 5 star. And then we have the LF customer portal, wherein our clients can actually check the details and status of their deliveries. Okay, having said that, on the digitalized transport operations to our control tower, I would like you to proceed in terms of our ensuring financial stability. Without this, we cannot operate. So in LF, we ensure that our billings are billed within 30 days. No hanging unbilled. And then we ensure that those 30 days billed are paid us also on time. Those things. And then for 100% shipment closure, it means that we have received 100%. The POD completeness, it's on time returned to us. RUD processing is on time as well. And then claims discrepancy in our delivery. That is meant by 100% shipment closure. In that way, we can protect and have our financial stability. Okay. Next slide, just a glimpse of what we do since LF doesn't own our trucks, but we have programs that makes it our own to operate. So this is our structured vendor management that we use as our strategy in LF. And I just wanted to highlight the newest for this structured vendor management on my next slide, which is the online accreditation. The online accreditation is a less physical contact and then a faster vendor accreditation. Then after that, in LF, we continue and we strive for continuous improvement amidst of the pandemic. We have online trainings from our Six Sigma Black Belter. Our people, our rank and file supervisors and managers are engaged in continuous improvement in terms of cost optimization, productivity, and lean operations. With that, I would like to end to say thank you for giving us opportunity to have a glimpse on what we do in LF Transport Management in the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Neil, for that very informative presentation. And I took note of your best practices on digitalized transport operations, featuring the end-to-end process and how you also take care of your vendors. So thank you very much. For any questions, we will have that later after our final speaker. So for our final speaker for today, he will help us to look at how we can maximize tools and technologies available to strengthen our transport strategies and better serve our customers. Mr. Iain Macpherson is Vice President for Travel and Transportation Industries for SAP Asia Pacific and Japan. He has held various roles in shipping, transportation, and logistics before joining the IT sector, and now helps businesses such as airlines, shipping lines, ports, and logistics service providers in their path towards digital transformation and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Mr. Iain Macpherson. Hi, Iain.
Hi, thank you very much for that introduction. I'm just sharing my slides. Hopefully you can see them okay. All right, so good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. Thank you for your time. Some great insights there from Neil on what they have done around handling or managing the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic and how we move forward. What I'm going to talk about this afternoon is really an extension of that, and that is how we can better leverage technology in navigating this new transportation and logistics landscape. Before I start, I just want to give you a quick snapshot view of about SAP, what SAP is. For those of you that aren't familiar with us, we are a multinational, one of the multinational leading business software providers in the world. We have around 440,000 customers, 101,000 employees in over 140 countries, 21,000 partners, a revenue of over 27 billion euro. 77% of the world's transactional revenue passes through an SAP system. We have over 200 million subscribers on our cloud user base, and of course we see the growth in cloud technologies and cloud solutions rapidly moving at the moment. Over 100 innovation and development centers. And then very importantly, I think, is that 80% of our customers are small to medium enterprises, and often people see us as just being a large monolithic organization that can only provide solutions to the top end organizations. But as I say, 80% of our customers are small to medium enterprises, so we do really cater for everybody. We think about logistics and transportation and look at it from the perspective of a manufacturer. And I've used automotive here as an example. Around 250 tier 1 suppliers, but that number increases to over 18,000 across the full value chain. That's 18,000 vendors that are moving goods on behalf of that manufacturer. And then it goes out into the distribution center. So it highlights the importance and the value that logistics and transportation plays in our everyday daily lives. We have seen so many challenges in this industry, and I've been around for quite a long time. And a lot of these challenges are continuous. Every discussion we have with one of our customers, with one of our prospects, many of these come up in these discussions. Discussions around efficiency, improving efficiency across the organization. Discussions around congestion, be that a port, be that an airport, a distribution center, or even within a city. And I'm sure you're familiar with that, being in Manila. Discussions around optimization of processes, optimization of routes, in order to improve the way in which we work. Then we have the trade tensions at the moment between the US and China, and in fact, a lot of the world and China, and we certainly see that a lot in Asia. We have challenges around documentation, the amount of documentation that is needed to move a consignment from A to B. And part of that process is asset utilization. Are we getting the best out of our assets? How do we improve utilization of those assets? We have failed deliveries, $1.8 billion in failed deliveries a year. We strive for the perfect delivery. We're looking always at customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is an increasing capability that we need to focus on. And of course, we always talk about the last mile dilemma. But we now have an extension to that, not just because of COVID, but because of the increase in online shopping and e-commerce platforms. We're seeing a shift from offshore to nearshore and onshore manufacturing. Higher customer expectations as we shop online. We all demand and expect our deliveries a lot sooner and a lot quicker. We're seeing smaller parcel sizes, but higher volumes. And because of COVID in particular, we're seeing bottlenecks with additional checks. And as Neil highlighted, we've now got the additional complications of COVID. We've got hygiene, we've got spraying, we've got masks, we've got lockdown situations or movement control orders that put pressure on the workforce and put pressure on the movement of goods. We've got social distancing, and we're looking for touchless delivery. Now that might paint a bit of a bleak picture, but it could be worse. And fortunately, goods are still moving. The supply chains are still moving. People still need food. They still need clothing. They still need medical supplies. So the industry, the logistics industry, as I see it, is certainly a lot better off, for example, than the travel industry. We've seen airlines grounded. We've seen airlines go into administration. We've seen hospitality companies struggling, hospitality companies going into administration, and tens of thousands, if not millions of jobs being laid off. So we are still in a fortunate position from a logistics and transport perspective where goods are still moving. It's not all doom and gloom. Some of the mitigation strategies that I wanted to highlight here from our friends at Frost & Sullivan, and from their analysis that they've done across Asia Pacific. And the ones that I've highlighted really are those ones that relate to technology rather than the sort of health and safety and hygiene aspects of it. Cargo aggregation platforms, the Uberization of freight, we're starting to see that come in, making better utilization of available space. If we look at sea freight, concessions and waivers, as Jel mentioned in her presentation, and port automation. Now, port automation isn't something you can do overnight, but processes you can automate by implementing solutions that can automate some of those mundane tasks. Under warehousing and last mile delivery, we see crowdsourcing, and Neil alluded to that to some extent. Crowdsourcing for delivery using available capacity that is out there. And we're starting to see some autonomous systems being tested. Obviously, those autonomous systems are largely limited by government regulation. And then from a clearance and regulation point of view, digitization gains popularity, absolutely. And again, Neil touched on that earlier. Digitization of a lot of their documentation, a lot of their processes, onboarding to allow that touchless experience and to automate some of those environments. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter, and that will help and deliver your business outcomes. And that is really what it's all about. It's about delivering your business outcomes, no matter what the situation is. Yes, we have additional constraints because of the restrictions of COVID. Yes, trade volumes have reduced to some extent, but we're still looking to deliver. We're still looking to earn revenue. It's all about those business outcomes. So we need to be smarter in doing that. One of the first areas to look at is about understanding our customers, listening and understanding our customers by managing experience. And that's bringing together the operational data that we have within our company, our customers, our orders, our inventory, returns, deliveries, and debtors, etc., together with experience data. And this is something we don't often measure in the logistics space, but bringing experience data, what our customers are experiencing, what our employees and vendors are experiencing of our services. Are they satisfied or dissatisfied? Is there disappointment with the services that we provide? Are they delighted in the services they receive from us? Or is there frustration in failed deliveries? Are we being successful in our deliveries, or are we struggling with last mile deliveries and failing? It's a lot more than just listening and understanding. We can manage all of this to death, but if we don't act on it, the whole purpose of that measurement is a failure. So listen, understand, and act. Some of the focus areas that we see organizations concentrating on, and again, Neil alluded to some of these, and they've done many of these within their organization, which is great to see. First of all, analytics, leading on from our previous slide around operational and experience data. Having clear visibility across the organization, from finance to operations to customer service, of what is happening across the business, and then using that information to drive actions. Really focusing on user experience, customer experience, employee experience, focusing on the brands and the products that we have, and making sure we are addressing what is not working and we're capitalizing on what is working. And then digitization, probably one of the most important aspects of this. We're all under a lot more pressure with the complications of COVID and restrictions of COVID, digitizing manual processes that are not specifically adding any more value, becoming lean in our operations, automating manual tasks, using analytics to help us in that process. And then using all of that to simplify our business processes, simplify our application portfolio, simplify the way in which we engage with our vendors, and the way in which our customers engage with us, and the way in which we engage with our partners. And then looking at new business models. And we've certainly seen this in other industries where they have been restricted by not being able to perform the normal business that they do. And airlines is a great example. Airports is another good example of this. Looking at becoming a retailer, looking at doing things differently, doing things out of the traditional landscape of what our business does. And bringing all of this together to becoming an intelligent logistics or transport enterprise. And what does that really mean? It means looking at putting your solutions in the cloud to give you scale, to give you elasticity and give you flexibility. It's having deeply integrated end-to-end processes across the organization, from your first engagement with your seller to the final delivery with your consignee or your customer. It's about looking at automating processes and automating solutions, automating machinery within the organization, automated processes, autonomous vehicles. It's about connecting across the network of your suppliers, your customers, even your competitors to some extent. If we look at that, the crowdsourcing of opportunities. It's about using the inbuilt intelligence within solutions to give you insights and ensuring they're secure with the threat we have of cybersecurity. It's about using the best-in-class functionality in your core systems and keeping it simple. And we shape this in two ways. Our first mode is around the core, the foundation of your business. Key to that is cloud. That gives you the scalability, it gives you the flexibility to upscale, to downscale, to decommission as and when you need to. Again, Neil touched on this earlier around continuous evaluation, continuous improvement, and continuous innovation. Innovation to avoid being disrupted. Innovation to become a disruptor yourselves. I mentioned integration of solutions, hopefully across an end-to-end series of applications. And then it just needs to be easy to use. It's all about that user experience again, or the employee experience and the customer experience, be it an app, be it in the way in which they communicate with you, be it in the way in which we work with our own resources internally, making sure it's easy. And then mode 2 is really more about innovation. And these two don't need to run in sequence. They can run in parallel. Using analytics, giving you insights and intelligence to shape your business decisions. Looking at working within logistics networks, expanding out beyond your traditional way of working, having integrity and visibility across the end-to-end supply chain, knowing where your goods are, knowing where your shipments are, knowing where your assets and resources are, and being able to optimize and maximize utilization of those. And then finally, robotics. And certainly we've seen a large increase in this in warehousing spaces. We're starting to see autonomous vehicles. There's a lot of discussion around drone delivery, a lot of discussion around underground transportation networks, and a lot of that is automated robotic. When we think of it from an SAP perspective, we think of it not as us selling solutions. We see ourselves as selling and delivering on your business outcomes. And that's really what it's all about. You do not buy software from us. You buy business outcomes. We've already spoken about some of those business outcomes. We've spoken about simplification, we've spoken about analytics and insights, and we've spoken about customer experience. But of course, we can't ignore the growth in revenue, the growth in margins. We can't ignore the desire to reduce costs, and we can't ignore the desire to improve our operational efficiency. So yes, we have an extensive portfolio of integrated solutions covering all of those business processes, from finance to procurement, transportation and warehouse management, logistics business networks, environmental health and safety, which is so important right now, experience management, which is playing an even more important role in our businesses. Bring all of those integrated solutions, deliver your business outcomes, and enable you to do more with your business, to deliver that consumer grade customer experience, to optimize your operations, to maximize your asset utilization based on the analytics that you're getting, to use that analytics and your experiences to open up new revenue streams and new business models. Again, using collaboration and analytics to collaborate across the ecosystem and beyond the ecosystem, to mitigate disruptions, to have those insights to mitigate disruptions. I always say the difference between a good business and a great business is the way they handle things when they don't go well. So be able to have the foresight to manage those disruptions. Be flexible, be agile, and be proactive, not reactive. And ultimately reduce your overall IT spend and total cost of ownership. And if we look at some of the areas where we have seen growth and evolving business models, superior customer service and last mile delivery using IoT and SAP working with Project 44 in that respect, consolidating freight contracts and having greater bargaining power with your suppliers using our solutions to do that. Using bots to digitize the customer experience, chatbots to fulfill mundane tasks that would be somebody would be taking up on a telephone to respond to fairly normal day-to-day queries. Having integrated logistics solutions across transportation, storage, inventory management, warehouse management, and then working within business networks, collaborating with your suppliers, collaborating with your shippers, your consignees, and everybody else that is involved in the end-to-end supply chain. And all of this is really fueled by the intelligent technologies that we're now seeing: big data, advanced analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and blockchain. So in summary, 3 points. Measure experience to define the actions. Measure that experience to define the actions. Experience within the organization, experience from your customers, from your employees. Measure it and act on it. Number 2, put the customer or the user at the center of everything that you do. Everything that you can put in place, all the solutions and processes you can put in place, come to naught if it doesn't focus on ultimately that customer, which leads back to customer experience. And then leverage technology, not because of technology, but to deliver your business outcomes and to deliver on that customer experience. More importantly, leverage the right technology for you and your organization. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you this afternoon and wish you every success as we continue to go through this global pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Iain, for your presentation. And Iain is joining us from Singapore. So thank you very much. And they will be running a survey. So please make sure SAP will be running a survey. So you please find time to complete the survey. And if you complete the survey form, you will get a freebie, a 200 peso worth Grab food voucher. Wow, thank you very much, SAP, for that special treat. Okay. Now it's time for our open forum. So again, you can put your questions through the Q&A box or through the, and if you're joining us through Facebook, through the comment section. Okay. So I just took note of some key takeaways during the presentation. So first is the safety and well-being of our supply chain frontliners is of utmost importance, especially as they carry on their duties. And next is a deeper collaboration with shippers, carriers, and third-party logistics providers will enable all parties in the supply chain to better react to this pandemic and future disruptions. Third, transportation systems must adapt quickly. A holistic view of our transportation system can ensure that we become more agile to adjust to changes and that we maintain our resiliency and offer reliable customer service. Finally, digitalization, adapting to emerging technologies and connectivity will be key to enable a seamless flow of information and goods moving forward. So, as Iain pointed out, leverage technology to deliver business outcomes and customer experience. Okay, so for our first question, the panelists are still here joining us. So, okay. May we hear from our resource speakers regarding the current logistics bottlenecks in Luzon and about our port operations and how is this being addressed? Probably Ms. Jel can answer that question. Are there any current bottlenecks in Luzon and port operations and how is this being addressed? Ms. Jel?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for this question. In fact, in Batangas, we don't have any bottlenecks. The port is performing good. There is no traffic. In terms of processing, it's faster. We have a good working relationship with the Bureau of Customs to ensure one-day cargo releasing at the port. So I am sure that some of your members here in SCMAP have that kind of experience via the Port of Batangas because they are our key accounts. So if you're experiencing concerns or challenges in other areas, maybe I would suggest strongly or encourage you to review and make Batangas as part of the solution for your existing current logistics process.
Okay, thank you, Jel.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, maybe now hear from Neil. How is the situation of shipments from Northern Luzon or regarding the special requirements for tests? How do you deal with that new requirement?
Yeah, actually right now for our shipments via Roro or Bispin, there's some delays in terms of the travel. And for our air or sea, right now the new normal is actually delay. But basically what we can do is just coming from our forecast and coming from our planning, we adjust together with our principals in terms of adjusting our lead time, completing it from the customer side. Because we need to adjust in the new normal. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. How about Neil, from your point of view in Singapore? Are there any bottlenecks regarding shipments? Can you shed light on that? Oh, I think you're.
Yep. So
yeah.
There have been some initially with the initial lockdown. There were obviously some challenges, but the port has continued to move fairly fluidly, as has the airport air freight. Of course, we don't have the sort of the extensive challenges moving the distances that you do in the Philippines. You know, Singapore is probably smaller than Metro Manila, so we don't have as many challenges in that respect, and things have continued to operate fairly successfully.
Okay, thank you, Iain. So our next question. Have there been any customer requirements like new delivery windows or safety and health protocols brought about by the pandemic? And how are you dealing with this? Or are there new standards about these new requirements from your principals or from your vendors? Maybe ask Neil.
Yeah.
Have there been new delivery requirements, like new changes in delivery window
For
because of
changes
the...
on delivery window, not much. But in terms of some of our customers, they are requesting for the rapid test, the medical certificates coming from their municipality or city halls. Those things are very important right now. And then they wanted us to, like, for example, to clean the truck first before entry. Majority, those are the top three new normal requirements. But majority, other than that, we have issues in the checkpoints, actually, if it is a provincial trips. So as I mentioned in my previous presentation, we ensure that each of the particular requirement are advancedly informed to us so that we can prepare what to bring in terms of documentations, in terms of certifications. It's actually a case-to-case basis per province, per principal.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, another question. Have there been new transport-related KPIs in your operations because of COVID-19? Or has there been a recalibration of your targets because of the current pandemic?
Is it for... Yeah.
Did
okay.
you get... Okay.
Yeah, I get it. For us, for LF, yes, we have recalibration in terms of our target, in terms of realistic, and in terms of the new landscape right now. For KPI, we have been more stringent KPIs in terms of ensuring the financial stability and in terms of still hitting the on-time delivery to our customers. So one of the new KPIs that we have is what we call the shipment closure, which which actually entails of 5 critical to quality supporting measures that we do measure in our shop floor people. So those are 5 critical qualities. So those things, making more stringent in terms of processes, streamlining, and making it lean. If we have more time, I can actually walk you through for specific projects. So yeah. As an example.
Thank you, Neil. So this question is for Ms. Jel. Jel, are there any plans for expanding your Batangas operations?
Yeah. Well, in terms of expansion, we actually do have plans. Now, the expansion is volume driven. So once we hit threshold volume for our terminals, could be with the Batangas container terminal or could be with domestic terminals, then definitely we will be expanding Batangas port.
Okay. Let's see. We're now checking some questions from our Q&A box. Okay. How do you currently deal with the different LGU requirements before goods can be delivered? How do you currently... Can anyone from the resource speakers answer that?
Yeah, as I've said, for the land deliveries for Luzon, Vismin, and Cebu, what we do is a coordination per province. What are the requirements? So usually, the one that I mentioned to you earlier, the usual top of mind requirements are the certification of the principal or what the products are being transported, and then the IATF IDs, the medical certificates, and some areas are also looking for rapid tests or swab tests in terms of entering their province because they wanted to protect the province, and some other documentation. So what we do, we have an advanced coordination. Of course, this is hand in hand with our principal in coordinating per checkpoints. In terms of security, why we need to do this? Because our item are highly valuable, and we could not let it just stop in terms of stopping in some certain area. That is not safe for us. So in terms of leaving first the gate of our warehouses up to the end of the receiving destination, it should be well coordinated. Other than having our GPS, but no, we could not just rely. We need to coordinate in advance to the checkpoints and to the municipality or the city of delivery or the provinces.
Okay, thank you. With the coming Burr months or the peak season, what preparations have your companies taken to beef up operations? Or have your customers already forecasted an increase in demand during the Burr months? In the terms of port operations and for our service provider.
It's okay.
Burr months.
Burr months. Well, basically, we have seen already that the volume is inching up this second quarter, and we hope that it's going to sustain until the Burr months. For us, the terminal is operating at 48% capacity, so we have a lot of space to take in containers at our terminal. So for those that have been envisioning an increase in inventory levels in preparation for probably for mitigating further risk in terms of second wave or whatever, then we have the ICD. Okay? ICD is operating at 50% capacity right now. So basically, we have the space and we have the resources to handle your cargoes during the peak season.
Okay. How about Neil from your operations? Preparing for the Burr months.
Yeah. Actually, when you go to the logistics side or a tracking side, when it goes to O&D in a normal world, that is the tracker's market. But right now it's different. So how we do it is we have forecast planning together with our principals in terms of their volume. Let's say, for example, in units, in cases, and there's a little bit adjustment of the scenario right now because, like, for example, if it is an apparel or a client, then malls are shut down, then there will be no delivery. But in our side, we ensure that we are planned and everything is push button in terms of our planning. Internally to LF, we ready this together with our close collaboration with our team. We have the procurement team and the safety team, ensuring that we adjust quickly, and meaning why we emphasize the adaptability. Coming from the forecast, we forecast is just a forecast, but of course we need to prepare. We have option 1, option 2, and option 3 on how are we going to react quickly, because our world right now, our delivery landscape, just changed in maybe tomorrow is a different. So what we have right now as a tool is adaptability, and the people of LF in terms of dedication, working 24/7 on how can we make a solution that will still deliver the products that we need, especially for those essential goods that we need to deliver. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just comment on that a little bit further as well? And I think Neil hit the nail on the head there. Is you have to, any organization at the moment has to be in a position of being flexible and being agile. We have no idea what the future is going to hold. We can forecast as much as we like. We can predict as much as we like, but we have really no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next quarter. So it's a case of having the ability to be flexible, to be agile, to be proactive where we can. But if we have to be reactive, then to react quickly.
Okay. So Iain, here's another question for you. So there's a notion that sometimes big multinational companies are not quite agile to adjust to sudden market dynamics. Would you know how some of them are coping, especially the increase of e-commerce utilization?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think it hasn't just been COVID that has impacted this, but we've certainly seen the impacts of the Alibabas of the world, of the Amazons of the world, and the effect that they've had on on many other companies that haven't been as quick and as agile. So some of them have really struggled. Let's be honest. There are many organizations that have really struggled. Our CEO of Qualtrics, which is our experience management, one of our experience management company, was talking in a seminar the other day, and he was talking about organizations that are measuring customer experience, measuring products, measuring brands beautifully. But all they're measuring is measuring how quickly they're going to fail and how quickly they're going to go out of business. So it really is about leveraging data to be able to act. And it's either a case of you survive, you've got to strive, you've got to thrive to survive. So you've got to be able to adapt your organization, whether you're a multinational or you're a mom and pop shop, because there's another mom and pop shop that's going to open around the corner that's going to do things better than you do things cheaper than you do in terms of their cost base. So it really is about being adaptable, being able to change your business models, being able to become flexible and support the changes that you're facing. And as I said earlier in my presentation, it's a case of you may not believe you're in an organization or in an industry that's going to be disrupted, but that would be a mistake because you never know what is around the corner. So it's really about being on top of it all of the time.
Okay. So we're down to our last two questions, and this question is for Iain. So is it difficult to integrate tech solutions during these times? It will take a while, but is the transition particularly difficult now or just the same?
I think that depends largely on
about that?
I think that depends largely on the organizational readiness. So and again, it comes down to capacity and capability. We have certainly seen a number of organizations, be they large or small, have said at this time, all our projects are on hold. We don't want to embark on any transformation. We might do some evaluation, but everything is on hold. By the same token, we've also seen some companies, and these are companies in industries that are under a lot of pressure, that are saying, hang on, now's a good time. Things are a little bit quieter. Now is a good time to embark on a transformation. I'm not necessarily talking about an enterprise-wide transformation here, but certainly areas of the business that are struggling, where those business outcomes that we spoke about earlier perhaps aren't being realized, and to look at areas that can improve them in the short term. So it really depends on the organizational readiness of the company, but a good time with less volume moving through the business to potentially look at improving your overall technology landscape.
Okay. Thank you, Iain. So this last question is regarding the lead times to Visayas and Mindanao. Can you share your thoughts about this, Neil, about the lead times going to BISMIN? How are you working on improving the lead times, given the constraints about shipping lines, vessels, or trips? How are you dealing with that?
Just like what I said, we are predicting that our deliveries are delayed. So the usual lead time that we had in terms of the usual shipment, let's say for example, 7 days up to Cagayan de Oro, to the doorstep of a warehouse of our client, we need to adjust backwards and putting up another lead time for us to still hit in terms of hit the required delivery date. Yeah.
Okay. So that brings to our close our question and answer portion. And again, we'd like to thank our three resource speakers this afternoon, Ms. Jelicia Yulo from Asian Terminals Incorporated, Mr. Neil Urcia from LF Philippines, and Mr. Iain Macpherson from SAP for sharing with us their time and expertise on our topic, navigating the new transport landscape. And we send, of course, our special appreciation to SAP, our partner for this edition of SCMAP Live. And don't forget to fill up the survey for a 200 peso Grab Food voucher treat from SAP. So there's a request for us to have a group shot. Okay. Yeah, Nico, will you do the honors of switching to gallery?
All right, ready?
And taking our picture.
Ika ka webcam in 1, 2, stop. We're done, Och, we're done.
Okay.
Okay.
Again, thank you for those who joined us today. And again, please feel free to send us your feedback. When you open your browser, once you leave the seminar, there will be a feedback form for you to accomplish. And again, reminding about SAP survey for the 200 peso voucher treat. Finally, you can keep up to date with what we are doing here at SCMAP by visiting our website, scmap.org, and by following us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Of course, don't forget, we are also accepting sponsorships for our forthcoming online events. You may contact our secretariat for more information. So until our next event, please stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless us all. Good afternoon, and thank you.